Okay, let's talk about confidence, but I'm not talking about that flimsy, feel good kind of hype that disappears the second things get tough. No, we're talking about real, deep, lasting conviction. We're going to dig into how true confidence isn't something you just find one day, it's something you actually build piece by piece, one deliberate move at a time. So let's get into it.
You know that feeling, don't you? That nagging thought that, man, if I just had more confidence, I would totally go for that job. Or I'd finally start that thing I've been dreaming about. It's like you're standing on the edge of the pool, just waiting for this magical feeling to hit you before you're willing to jump in. It's a super common and, let's be honest, an incredibly frustrating place to be stuck.
And this is the sentence that keeps us stuck there. I can't because I lacked confidence. It sounds so final, right? Like it's a diagnosis. We tell ourselves this, we might even tell our friends this, and it becomes this giant wall we can't get over. But here's the thing. What if that wall is actually made of paper? What if it's just an excuse we've all agreed to believe?
That's it. As of right now, that excuse is officially retired. We are done with it. We're going to shift our focus from this vague idea of confidence to something much more powerful and practical: self-efficacy. All that means is your belief in your own ability to get things done. And the game-changing part? It's not a mood you have to wait for. It is a structure that you actively, intentionally build.
So you're probably asking, okay, how do I build it? Well, we're going to explore this really cool framework called the 26 Switches of Resilience. I want you to picture a big control panel inside you. Each of these 26 switches is a specific skill or mindset that you can practice and get better at. We're talking things like overcoming perfectionism, learning how to take a compliment, even just the way you carry yourself. They're all the little components that, together, create that rock-solid feeling of, yeah, I can handle this.
And this, right here, is why this matters so much. That vague confidence, the kind you get from a good hair day or someone giving you a compliment, it's brittle. It's like a house of cards. The first little gust of wind, the first piece of criticism, and the whole thing comes tumbling down. But built confidence, the kind you assemble with these switches, that's resilient. That's a brick house. It holds up under pressure because you know exactly what it's made of. You built it yourself. All right, I get it. Looking at a control panel with 26 switches can feel a little intimidating. And if you try to flip all of them at once, you're just going to burn out. That's a surefire way to crash and burn. So we're not going to do that. Nope. Instead, we're going to focus on a really simple 3-step strategy to get the engine started. This is it. This is your launch sequence. For now, you can honestly forget about the other 23 switches. All you need to remember are these 3 things. Let's break down what they actually mean. First things first, you gotta secure the foundation. This is all the basic, non-sexy stuff that we love to ignore. Your sleep, how you manage your time, your basic energy levels. Look, ambition is great, but it's totally useless if you're running on empty. This is just about making sure you have gas in the tank before you try to drive up a mountain. Step 2 is where things get really interesting. Hack the mundane. This is all about finding hidden opportunities for growth in the boring parts of your day. That commute you dread, it's now your private university on wheels for podcasts or focused thinking. Washing the dishes, it's a chance to practice mindfulness or efficiency. You start to see that the parts of your life you just get through are actually the raw materials you can use to build resilience. And number 3, and this one is so important, start small. You have to give yourself permission to be a beginner, permission to be a little awkward and clumsy at first. The goal isn't some huge heroic action. It's about stacking tiny, real wins. We're talking about actions with such a low bar for success that it's almost impossible to fail. Each one of those little wins is another brick you lay in that foundation of self-efficacy. Okay, so we've got our 3-step strategy. Now, how does this actually look on a Tuesday? The trick is to reframe a tool most of us already use, a planner or a journal. I want you to stop seeing it as just a to-do list. Start seeing it as a training journal for your soul. Here's how it could work. In the morning, you just pick one switch to focus on for the day. So maybe it's switch number 15, overcoming perfectionism. And you don't just write that down, you define a specific, concrete action, like this one: submit the draft at 60% quality. Boom. You've just defined exactly what a win looks like today. It's clear, it's measurable, and it's totally doable.
Then, as you go through your day, you're on the lookout for those chances to hack the mundane. Let's say you're stuck in a meeting that is putting you to sleep. Instead of just zoning out, you actively reframe it. You pull out your journal and you write, hack. Analyze the speaker's facilitation style. You just took a totally passive, energy-draining hour and turned it into an active, little learning opportunity. That's a win.
And then, at the end of the day, you do a quick 2-minute soul inventory. You just look back. Maybe today's switch was number 22, accepting praise. And you remember that moment when your coworker thanked you. And instead of doing that awkward, oh, it was nothing thing, you just looked him in the eye and said, thank you. You write it down and you count it. Self-efficacy, +1. This little act of reflection is what cements the experience and turns it into real felt strength.
Now, if you're listening to all this and thinking, wow, that still sounds like kind of a lot, just breathe and remember this simple piece of advice. 1 millimeter per day is enough. Seriously, the goal isn't some massive transformation by Friday. It's about tiny, consistent forward movement. One small, intentional action, because consistency will always, always beat short-term intensity. So let's zoom out for a second. As you keep doing this, day after day, something really cool starts to happen. These little actions, these individual switches you're flipping, they stop being isolated events. They start to connect. They form a circuit. You're literally building a resilient, interconnected network of self-belief inside you.
And what's amazing is that this internal network has a huge external impact. When you feel more solid in yourself, you naturally have more capacity to genuinely encourage the people around you. You find you have the courage to set boundaries when you need to, without all the drama. Your actions start to come from a place of service, not a place of needing approval. It's funny how that works, right? Building yourself up actually makes you better for everyone else. So after all of that, it really just comes down to this. We've talked about the big idea, the strategy, the daily practice. The only thing left to do is to start. So the question for you isn't, how am I going to master all 26 of these things? No. The question is much simpler. It's just this. Which switch, which single switch will you flip today?